Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to the course of Fundamentals of Public Administration. Course code is MPA 406 and today our lecture number is 29. So as you already know that before we discuss our today's topic of discussion, let's have a brief reflection of our previous lecture. Okay, I hope that you remember that in our previous lecture we have talked about importance of communication, we have talked about the significance of communication, and we have talked about how we can improve our performance with the help of strong communication skills. Now we discussed the importance of communication in particularly with reference to the public sector of Pakistan. As we all know that communication is the biggest problem of every organization in the world. Whether we are talking about public sector of Pakistan or private sector of Pakistan, whether we are talking about multinational companies anywhere in the world, each organization, they are facing one major problem, and that is of communication. Now in our previous lecture we discussed in depth like how we can improve our communication skills, what are the root causes of communication barriers, and how to manage or how to overcome communication barriers. In our previous lecture we talked about communication process model. We have talked about sender and receiver. Now like here I am giving you a lecture, so I become a sender and you are watching and listening this lecture. It means that you are the receiver. So there is a process, like sender is sending the information and the receiver is receiving the information. Now that information travels from the sender side with the help of some channel or some medium. Now what is that channel? What is that medium? Like for example, television, you see different messages on televisions, like for example advertisements or different programs. Okay, you see different like for example you read newspapers, you work on internet and things like that. So there are different channels or medium. With the help of these channels or mediums you are able to get that message or information. So these days we use, like for example we are using Bluetooth technology as well. We use radio, we use face-to-face communication, and so things like that are being used for the transfer of information from one place to the other place. Now we have also discussed in the communication process model that it is the major responsibility of the sender to understand the profile of the receiver. For instance, मैं आपको एक for example एक information दे रहा हूँ, तो जब मैं ये information आपको दे रहा हूँ तो मुझे वो information transfer करने से पहले I should know कि what is your education level, what is your age, you are male or female, where you live, what is your background, like कौन कौन सी लैंग्वेजेस आप समझ सकते हैं, कौन कौन सा चैनल या मीडियम जो है जो आपके पास एक्सेसिबिलिटी है, क्या आपके पास इंटरनेट फैसिलिटी है, क्या आपके पास टेलीविजन फैसिलिटी है, क्या न्यूज़पेपर एक्सेसिबिलिटी है आपके पास, things like that. So I should have good knowledge about these things about the receiver. Now what is the benefit? Definitely as a sender जब मुझे मालूम होगा कि रिसीवर का प्रोफाइल क्या है, उसका बैकग्राउंड क्या है, उसके पास क्या एक्सेसिबिलिटी है किन चीज़ों की, उसकी एजुकेशन क्या है, उसका एटीट्यूड क्या है, बिहेवियर क्या है. So जितनी पॉसिबल हो you should try to get the information about the receiver. Now what is the major benefit here? Of course, the better you know the receiver, the better you can design a message, because then you customize the message. You send the message according to the profile of the receiver. For example, have you ever seen the advertisement of urea खाद in English? I believe आपने ऐसा एडवर्टाइजमेंट नहीं देखा होगा. Now what is the reason? Why यूरिया खाद एडवर्टाइजमेंट इज नॉट देयर इन इंग्लिश? ना किसी इंग्लिश न्यूज़पेपर में आपने देखा होगा, ना आपने टेलीविजन में कोई इंग्लिश में उसका एक एडवर्टाइजमेंट देखा होगा. द रीज़न इज यूरिया खाद कौन लोग यूज़ कर रहे हैं? फार्मर्स, जिम्मेदार, जो लोग जारी बात है जिनका ताल्लुक एग्रीकल्चर के साथ है, जिनको फर्टिलाइज़र की ज़रूरत है. नाउ जब हम फार्मर्स की बात करते हैं तो डेफिनेटली पाकिस्तान इज एन एग्रीकल्चर कंट्री. So majority of the population of Pakistan lives in agricultural areas. And we know that the literacy rate in the rural areas of Pakistan is lower than the urban areas. We also know that the English language skills are not very common in the rural areas of Pakistan. So these are the general observations, and we know about it because with the help of different sources. So since we have this knowledge about our farmers already in our mind, so when we design Uriya Khad advertisement, we know that we are going to send this message, like we are going to show this advertisement in Urdu or local languages. So in this way we are able to achieve our objective. Right? So I hope that कि इस एग्जाम्पल से आपने काफ़ी अंडरस्टैंड किया होगा कि सेंडर के लिए क्यों ज़रूरी है कि वो रिसीवर के प्रोफाइल को, उसके बैकग्राउंड को अंडरस्टैंड करे. देन इन द कम्युनिकेशन प्रोसेस मॉडल वी हैव आल्सो टॉक्ड अबाउट कम्युनिकेशन बैरियर्स. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल we have many barriers, like for example अभी जो हमें just अभी discuss किया language barriers. If you are sending a message in a language which is not understood by the receiver, so what is the use of sending that information? What is the use of sending that message? Like for example if I say mucha gracia, now what does it mean? So most of us do not know what does it mean. It is a Spanish word. It means thank you very much. So meaning that if you are using a language and which is not understood by the receiver, so there is no use of sending that message in that language. So why not you send your message in the language understood by both the sender and the receiver. So this is really very important. There are many other communication barriers. Like for example, we have talked about, like for example, physical disability could be one barrier. So then you need to like change your channel, you need to change your medium, and you need to adjust your message channel according to the receiver's capability. So we have discussed some other communication barriers in our previous lecture. So overall, with the help of communication process model, we ensure that when we are communicating in the public sector of Pakistan, we can improve our communication, we can improve our coordination, we can improve our relationship, because our relationship, our cooperation, our coordination in our offices is dependent on good communication skills. In our previous lecture, we have also talked about certain myths about the nature of communication. For example, we have discussed that where are the real meanings of words? The real meanings of words are in people. The real meanings of words are in the relationships. So this is really very important that when we are sending a message, when we are sending information from one person to the other, from one group to the other group, or from one organization to the other organization, we should know that how that organization or person or group will think about us. So this is really very important that we need to strengthen our relationships, because the stronger relations we have, the more meanings we take out of the communication. So we can expect more positive responses when we have stronger relations. So of course good effective communication skills help us to do that. Another myth we have discussed about communication is in the public sector of Pakistan is, okay, can we give others too much information? So we discussed in our previous lecture that information overload or too much information is like having no information. So one should not try to give too much information at one time, because this can create problems for the receiver. Then in our previous lecture we also talked about change. Like for example, we discussed about what is change. By change we mean that any alteration in the attitudes and behavior of people, any alteration in structure like our procedures and our rules, and adoption of new technology, and of course creation and innovation of new technology. So these are the three areas. When we talk about alteration of these three areas, we talk about change. Now in our previous lecture we discussed that the most important change the public sector of Pakistan need is positive change in the attitude and behavior of the persons who are working in the public sector of Pakistan. As we discussed that the major difference between the rich countries and poor countries in the world, that is attitude and behavior. The better or the more positive attitude and behavior we have for our organization, for our country, the better performance we can deliver. So we can improve our efficiency, we can improve our effectiveness when we have that positive attitude and behavior. Attitude means the way you think. Innamal a'malu binniyat. Amal ka daromadar niyat par hai. And niyat is the attitude. And behavior is the action part. Oral and written communication, facial expressions, body language. So these things are called the behavior. So attitude and behavior are interrelated, and behavior is coming out of the attitude. So this is really very important that we must understand that the major change we need to have in public sector of Pakistan is to have a more better positive attitude and behavior. Then in our previous lecture we talked about like why people do not change or why people do not want to change. So there are different reasons, and in our today's discussion we are going to highlight those areas, that what are the various aspects of change, and then of course why people resist change, and then when we talk about the public sector of Pakistan, what are the major challenges or issues we are facing currently, and of course what are the corrective measures required. So let us move on towards our today's topic of discussion. So people build up attitudes which fit their needs and values as they perceive them to be. Now kindly have a look at it again, please. People build up attitudes which fit their needs and values. Now what does it mean? लोग अपना वही एटीट्यूड बनाते हैं जो उनकी नीड्स को और उनकी वैल्यू के साथ मैच करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप जिस चीज को वैल्यू देते हैं और जिस चीज की आपको नीड है, आपकी थिंकिंग भी वैसे हो जाती है, आपकी सोच भी वैसी हो जाती है, आपकी परसेप्शन भी वैसी ही हो जाती है और आपकी नीयत भी वैसी हो जाती है. एज दे परसीव देम टू बी. So it means it is a matter of perception. So एक काम आप कहते हैं मैंने करना है, so you give logics. और वही काम अगर आपने नहीं करना, you again give logics. Meaning that so the most important thing here is perception. And when we talk about various aspects of attitude, the first one is cognitive. It says that what a person knows about the situation. Now this relates to knowledge and awareness. Of course, the better awareness you have, the better responses you have. So people having lack of awareness, people who have poor knowledge, they cannot be good decision makers. So this is really very important that we need to work on improving our awareness level. So the more awareness we have, the better attitude we have. Affective, how the person feels about it. So what is your feeling? What are your emotions towards any event or any issue? How you think about it. And I always say one thing, that problem is not a problem. The way you see the problem is the real problem. So that again shows your perception, that again shows your attitude. So problem इतनी बड़ी नहीं है जो जिस तरह से अगर like for example आप उसको feel कर रहे हैं, जिस तरह से आप उसको perceive कर रहे हैं. I always say another very important thing, that problem is actually an opportunity. So why not from today we decide that we are going to take problem as an opportunity instead of threat. Because mostly we observe that whenever there are problems, लोग अपना सर पकड़ के बैठ जाते हैं, परेशान हो जाते हैं, हाई स्ट्रेस में चले जाते हैं, या कुछ लोग बिल्कुल केयरलेस हो जाते हैं कि अब तो मैं कुछ कर ही नहीं सकता. So instead of going in high stress or low stress, why not start acting? Why not take the initiative? Why not think about solving that problem? Why not take it as a challenge? And if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't. So you are what you think. The next aspect of attitude is behavioral. It says that how the person reacts. Now again, your response here, how you react, how you respond. And mostly philosophers agree on one thing, that most of the things we cannot control. So whatever happens to us, in most cases, we cannot control that. But what we can control here is our response. So इससे हम क्या learn करते हैं? If we have a better response, if we have a positive response, we can manage any challenge. We can manage any problem. So we can do anything for our organization. So that really depends on our attitude. So इस slide में अगर हम once again अगर इसको थोड़ा सा आप देखें कि we have discussed the three aspects of attitude: cognitive, affective and behavioral. तो जब भी आप अपने attitude की बात करते हैं, जब भी आप ये कहते हैं कि मेरा इस तरह का attitude है, मेरा उस तरह का attitude है, उसके पीछे ये तीन aspects हैं जो कि आपको उस डायरेक्शन में लेके जा रहे होते हैं जो आपका एटीट्यूड डेवलप हो जाता है. एंड इफ वी वांट टू ब्रिंग पॉजिटिव चेंजेस इन एटीट्यूड्स ऑफ द पीपल ऑफ पाकिस्तान, इन एटीट्यूड्स ऑफ द पब्लिक सर्वेंट्स, वी नीड टू वर्क ऑन दीज थ्री एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ एटीट्यूड. और जितना इन एस्पेक्ट्स को हम इम्प्रूव करेंगे उतना ही बेहतर तरीके से we can improve our performance in the public sector of Pakistan. Now let's have a discussion about Levin's force field analysis model. Now it has 3 phases: unfreezing, changing, refreezing. Let us discuss these one by one. The first phase is unfreezing. Now according to Levin's force field analysis model, in this phase, breaking down existing ways of doing things. तो सबसे पहले आप क्या करेंगे कि आपने अपने अंदर एक चेंज लेके आनी है, और सबसे पहला जो स्टेप आपने लेना है अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस force field analysis model, you need to break down your existing ways of doing things. कि इस वक्त आप जो भी काम कर रहे हैं उसको आपको ब्रेक करना पड़ेगा, मीनिंग दैट कि अगर आपके एक काम करने का एक खास तरीका है, उस तरीके को आपको ब्रेक करना है. One thing, discarding conventional methods and behavioral patterns. पुराने ओल्ड तरीकों को काम करने के और जो रूटीन बिहेवियर्स हमारे डेवलप हो चुके हैं पब्लिक सेक्टर में, उनको डिस्कार्ड करने की जरूरत है. सो फर्स्ट फेज में आप अपने ओल्ड मेथड्स, वर्किंग मेथड्स को, अपनी एक ट्रेडिशनल वेज ऑफ वर्किंग को आप ब्रेक करेंगे. देन चेंजिंग और मूविंग, दिस इज द सेकेंड फेज. इट सेज दैट receptive to proposed change, welcome the proposed change. So you should be happy that you are moving towards better solutions, and take this as a new learning. So we should be excited, we should be using our full energy level, because it's a new learning, it's a new window. So you are moving towards something which is really wonderful. It is a time of trial and error. Of course, there are no guarantees. Of course, there are certain risks involved. But it's a time of trial and error. Of course, एक trial and error है. You like go for a new method of working, so the result could be positive or negative. यहाँ पे मुझे एक फिलोसोफर की बात याद आ रही है कि एक फिलोसोफर ने कहा, try to make new mistakes, do not repeat your previous mistakes. Now what does it mean? People who are making new mistakes, meaning that they are doing something new. And do not repeat your old mistakes mean that we are learning, we are improving. So जब लोग बात करते हैं कि I have 10 years experience, 5 years experience, 20 years experience, 30 years experience, तो यहाँ पे एक मैं क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहूँगा कि इन 5 साल में, 10 साल में, 15 साल में, 20 साल में, 30 साल में आप अपने अंदर क्या इंप्रूवमेंट लेके आए हैं? ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए आपने क्या अचीव किया है? आपका क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन है इन द पब्लिक सेक्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान? सो दीज आर रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स वी नीड टू आस्क, एंड वंस वी हैव पॉजिटिव आंसर्स, इट मीन्स दैट यू आर रियली एन एक्सपीरियंस्ड पर्सन. लेकिन अगर आप ये कहते हैं कि मैं तो वैसा ही हूं जैसे कि मैं आया था 20 साल पहले, और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ठीक है रूटीन का काम मैं कर रहा हूं, तो व्हाट डज इट मीन? इट मीन्स दैट यहाँ पे अनफॉर्चुनेटली फिर हम ये बात करेंगे कि यू आर नॉट एन एक्सपीरियंस्ड पर्सन. सो दिस इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट कि जो लोग वक्त के साथ अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करते हैं, जो अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए उनकी हाई कमिटमेंट है, लॉयल्टी है, वो अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए बहुत कुछ कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, अपना इनपुट देते हैं, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को आगे लेके जाते हैं, तो अपनी एक सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट को भी फोकस करते हैं, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डेवलपमेंट को भी फोकस करते हैं, उन दोनों के दरमियान एक अलाइनमेंट लेके आते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड रियल एक्सपीरियंस. केयरफुल गाइडेंस. प्रॉब्लम अराइज, टैकल एफिशिएंटली. ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पे केयरफुल गाइडेंस की जरूरत है, क्योंकि यू आर मूविंग फ्रॉम द जोन ऑफ कंफर्ट टू द जोन ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी. यू आर मूविंग फ्रॉम द जोन ऑफ कंफर्ट टू द जोन ऑफ कोर्स एफर्ट. सो जब आप एक जोन से दूसरे जोन की तरफ जा रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली यू नीड गाइडेंस, और डेफिनेटली प्रॉब्लम्स मे अराइज. बट again I will say that we need to improve our attitude. So we need to think about solving the problems instead of talking about the problems all the time. And final stage of Levin's force field analysis model is new beliefs, attitudes gained, behavior learned or implemented. I will repeat. सबसे पहले आपने अनफ्रीजिंग की कि आपके जो रूटीन मेथड्स हैं, जो आपके पुअर वर्किंग मेथड्स हैं, जो आपके कन्वेंशनल मेथड्स हैं, उनको आपने ब्रेक किया. देन आपने मूव किया टुवर्ड्स चेंज. न्यू मेथड्स की तरफ आप अपने आप को लेके गए, हिट एंड ट्रायल बेसिस के ऊपर. जो न्यू एक्सपेरिमेंट्स, न्यू वर्किंग मेथड्स की तरफ आप मूव किया आपने. And then you move towards refreezing, क्योंकि जब आपने न्यू वर्किंग मेथड्स की एक्सपर्टीज को हासिल कर लिया तो एक न्यू बिलीफ और एक बेटर एटीट्यूड के साथ, बेटर बिहेवियर के साथ जो आपने लर्न किया है, आपने उसको रीफ्रीज कर दिया. सो दिस मॉडल रियली हेल्प अस टू ब्रिंग पॉजिटिव चेंजेस इन द पब्लिक सेक्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान. Now when we talk about culture, these are the change strategies. The first one is empirical. It says that rational explanation of need for change. Okay, empirical strategy says that we should have a logical explanation. We should be giving an argument, a logic, why we need to go for a change. So when we want to bring changes in the public sector of Pakistan, this is really very important that we need to give logic, we need to give reason, we need to give an argument why we need to go for a change. Coercive, imposing the change, use of authority, like top management has the authority, so they may impose the change. कि कल से आपका जॉब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज आपकी ये होंगी, आपके ऑफिस टाइमिंग्स ये होंगे, आपकी जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन ये होगी, आपके टारगेट्स ये होंगे. सो दे मे असाइन एनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, सो दे मे इम्पोज इट इफ दे वांट. Coercive, we have discussed that. And then re-educative, highlighting the benefits of change. Here you are focusing on rewards. Okay, people who are working in the organization, if they go for change, they will be rewarded because the change itself is a benefit. आप change लेके आते, change gives you more inner satisfaction. With the help of change, we can improve efficiency and effectiveness of our organization. With positive change, we can go for self-development. So these are the wonderful rewards. And of course, organization may make other arrangements like providing financial and non-financial rewards. So this is really very important that we need to understand these change strategies when we want to bring changes in the culture of an organization. So we need to go for one or two or three of these strategies. So which change strategy looks better here? What do you think? Empirical, coercive, or re-educative? Now every strategy has its own pros and cons. So as an expert of this area, I would say that we need to use a combination of these strategies. We need to go for contingency approach, meaning that we need to go for situational approach. So we need to use the change strategy as per situation. जिस तरह की situation होगी उसी तरह की strategy आप apply करेंगे. Now talking about work stress and its management. So what is stress? What comes in your mind? आपको कभी stress हुई? Okay. Having stress is a natural phenomenon. So people have stress because it is something which is natural. It comes in automatically. Now, what is meant by stress? Stress means that when you think that, when you perceive that you are unable to manage the situation. Now that situation could be a threat. Yeah, that situation could be some source of happiness. Like अगर आपका बहुत बड़ा प्राइस बॉन्ड निकल आता है, तो जिसका प्राइस बॉन्ड निकलता है वो समटाइम हाई स्ट्रेस में चला जाता है. सो हैप्पीनेस की वजह से भी आपको हाई स्ट्रेस हो सकती है. ऑन द अदर साइड, इन केस ऑफ एनी सैड event, you go in high stress. But it comes in when you think that you are unable to manage the happy event, or when you think that you are unable to manage the sad incident. So it all depends on your perception. As I earlier told you that you are what you think. So we need to improve our perception. We need to improve the way we look at things. We need to improve the way we feel about things. So this is really very important. And according to one of the UK studies, 80% of the diseases in the world have their root cause in stress. Now talking about issues in managing change, handling employee stress due to change. So this is really very important. Okay, whenever we bring in any kind of changes in our organization, people resist change, and when people resist change, they go into high or low stress. So this is really very important that we need to understand what stress is. We need to understand the symptoms and the root causes of stress, and of course most importantly we need to understand that how to manage stress before it gets you down. Now I'm going to discuss how potential stress becomes actual stress. When there is uncertainty over the outcome. जब एक अनसर्टेनिटी है, एक गैर यकीनी सूरत हाल है कि पता नहीं रिजल्ट क्या होगा. ठीक है, काम तो मैंने किया है, बट आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट द रिजल्ट्स, whether I will achieve my targets or not. So things like that. So when there is a situation of uncertainty over the outcome, we have stress. The next example is when the outcome is important. और जो टारगेट आप अचीव करना चाह रहे हैं, जो रिजल्ट आप अचीव करना चाह रहे हैं, जो गोल्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आप अचीव करना चाह रहे हैं, those are really important for you. So the more important that outcome is, the higher stress level you have. And the least important that outcome is the low stress you have. Now, talking about the causes of stress, of course, we have personal factors and we have job-related factors. Now, talking about resistance to change, most people do not like change because it creates ambiguity and uncertainty. So definitely whenever people they are asked to go for change or adopt change, they don't like it, they resist because it creates ambiguity and uncertainty. So of course the result is stress, because they are not sure what will happen, or like they have a fear of the unknown type of things. Now there are different reasons to resistance to change. So first we will look at individual resistance. So as an individual, when you are working in an organization, what happens that you resist change, like for example economic reasons. So due to the financial position or due to the economic reasons, you resist change. Personal reasons. So maybe you have a perception and you have a thinking that I should not adopt this change, I should not go for this change. Social reasons, maybe there are certain social pressures. And then talking about organizational resistance, organizational structure. Of course, when we talk about organizational structure, there are different channels. So some people, they do not want to bring changes. And another very important reason is because they have such type of organizational structure that is, of course, not helping them to adopt and go for a positive change. Resource constraints. Here the employee want to change. Here the employee want to move towards better ways of working. But the problem here is there is, of course, resource problem. There are lack of resources. And when we talk about resources, there are 4 types of resources needed by any organization in the world. That includes human resource, financial resource, physical resource, and information resource. So these 4 types of resources are required. So whenever you have a resource constraint, आपको human resources चाहिए, आपको लोग चाहिए अपनी टीम में, but you are unable to hire people. आपको you need financial resources. आपको स्पेस चाहिए, कमरा चाहिए, बिल्डिंग चाहिए, you need physical resources, you need equipment, you need more computers. That comes under the heading of physical resources. And then we talk about information resources, print and electronic media like TV, radio, newspaper, magazines, जहाँ से आप information gather कर रहे हैं. So these resources are required for improved efficiency and effectiveness of an organization. But if you lack one or more than one of these resources, that may become one of the reasons to resistance to change. And finally, threat to power and influence. Of course, one result of change is you are coming out of the comfort zone. So people, like for example, who resist change because they do not want to reduce their power, because one change could be delegation of decision-making authority. So when you delegate decision-making authority, some of the employees, they are unhappy because they do not want to delegate, because they want to have all authority in their hands. So then, of course, they resist change. Now I will talk about how to minimize resistance to change. There are different ways with the help of those different ways or methods, we can minimize the resistance to change. Earlier we have discussed that what are the reasons or what are the root causes why people working in different organizations, why they do not want to change. So resistance to change is a natural phenomenon. Like for example, मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ, आप मुझे कहते हैं कि यहाँ से उठ के आप वहाँ बैठ जाएं, तो definitely I will think why. So having a resistance to change is a natural thing. It is a natural phenomena, and we all have some different levels of resistance. Some people, they are they have very low resistance to change, and some they have high resistance to change. So let us discuss that how we can minimize this resistance to change. And the first thing is communication. Highest priority and first strategy for change. So the more you communicate, the better understanding you have with your team members, with your colleagues, the more easier it is for you to bring positive changes. So this is the most important method of bringing positive changes, and this is one of the most important strategies to minimize resistance to change. It improves urgency to change. Of course, it really helps to minimize resistance to change, and it in most cases it works really quickly. It reduces uncertainty, fear of the unknown. As we have already discussed, that people do not want to change because they have a fear of the unknown. पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा. Like for example, जब पाकिस्तान में नए नए कंप्यूटर्स आए, तो कुछ लोगों को थोड़ा सा वो they thought about it कि अब पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा. Like for example कि जिन लोगों को कंप्यूटर नहीं आता था, they thought कि जी मुझे तो कंप्यूटर नहीं आता, तो अब how I will manage. लेकिन आज वही लोग जो resist कर रहे थे, they appreciate and they are highly recommending कि जी computer literacy is really wonderful and that is need of the time. And without computers, we cannot run our organizations efficiently and effectively. So now you see that the better you communicate, आप sharing करते हैं, like for example information की, you share the benefits of change. So the better you communicate, the better you are able to reduce the uncertainty, and once that uncertainty level reduces, we can go for change. Now there are certain problems as well when we talk about the benefits of communication that help us to reduce resistance to change. The problem is it is time consuming and costly. Of course आपको time लगता है. It is costly because जब आपको ज़्यादा time आप spend कर रहे हैं, तो of course time is money. And of course, sometimes you need to communicate with your employees individually. Sometimes you need to communicate with your employees in a group. So, of course, it is taking more energy and more time. So that is increasing the cost. Another very important method when we talk about minimizing resistance to change is training. So what do we mean by training? आप थोड़ा सा मुझे बताइएगा कि how do we define training? Now training means learning existing job skill requirement. So there are no two different opinions on the significance of trainings in organizations. So it is really very important that we need to train our employees. So improvement is an ongoing process because of high competition, because our customer awareness level is rapidly increasing. Now our customers, they don't compromise on quality. So our customers, they want to have the best services, and that is only possible if we train our employees. So when talking about how to minimize resistance to change, training is another wonderful method. So training provides new knowledge and skills. So now you see that people having lack of knowledge or poor knowledge, they resist more. And the people who have more knowledge and more skills, उनका resistance level towards change is low. Training includes coaching and learning. तो आप कर क्या रहे हैं ट्रेनिंग में? आप कोचिंग भी कर रहे हैं, आप गाइडेंस भी दे रहे हैं और आपकी लर्निंग भी हो रही है. Training helps break old routines and adopt new roles. Of course, with the help of good training methods, we are able to break our old ways of working and we are moving towards new roles, new ways of working. But जो हमने अभी benefits discuss किए, what are the benefits when we are using training as one of the methods to minimize resistance to change? Now there are certain problems as well when we talk about training. Potentially time consuming and costly. Of course, training takes time. Training needs a lot of money because you need to pay for everything. You need to pay for like human resources, expertise, and things like that. And it is time consuming because training sessions takes time. Like for example, from few days to few weeks, we have different training sessions. And of course, we are not providing training to only few employees. We need to provide training to all of the employees of our organization. So these are some of the potential problems. The next important method to minimize the resistance to change is employee involvement. Here I would say that this is one of the most significant methods in order to minimize resistance to change. Now, जब हम बात करते हैं employee involvement की, जब हम बात करते हैं employee empowerment की, जब हम बात करते हैं employee feedback की, so this is really very important. So employee involvement increases ownership of change. Definitely, when you involve your employees, आपने एक change लेके आनी है अपनी organization में. Change लाने से पहले आप employees को अपने एक meeting में बुलाते. You discuss कि this is a proposed change. What do you think? You go for brainstorming sessions. Your employees, they give you suggestions, and maybe they give you a better suggestion जो कि आपके mind में नहीं है. So once you involve your employees in decision making, once you empower your employees, when you delegate authority to your employees, what happens that their sense of ownership of change increases. Because जब change आएगी, जब change को आप adopt करने की बात करेंगे, when you move towards new ways of working, so how you can improve your performance, how you can improve your efficiency and effectiveness, that is only possible when you have a sense of ownership of change. So instead of resisting to change, you are now supporting change. क्योंकि आपको involve किया गया था change लाने से पहले. So खुद तो आप motivated हैं, उसके अलावा you are also encouraging your fellows, colleagues for better change. Employee involvement helps saving face and reducing fear of unknown. ऑफ कोर्स जब आप एम्प्लॉय को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं तो फेस सेविंग तो है डेफिनेटली, बिकॉज इफ समथिंग गोज रॉन्ग, बिकॉज शुरू में हमने बात की कि हिट एंड ट्रायल बेसिस पे आप काम कर रहे हैं सम टाइम, सो इट्स नॉट गारंटीड दैट कि जो पॉजिटिव चेंज आप लेके आ रहे हैं उससे यकीनन ही आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज होगी या आपकी परफॉर्मेंस में डेफिनेटली कोई 100% इंप्रूवमेंट गारंटी नहीं है उसमें. So when you involve employees, it is a kind of face saving, because if something goes wrong, so it is your responsibility and of course the responsibility of your employees as well, क्योंकि आप सबने मिलकर डिसीजन लिया था. And then of course it reduces fear of unknown. Of course employees को आप involve कर रहे हैं तो उनका एक fear of the unknown वो कम हो रहा है. उनके बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं, बहुत सारी क्यूरीज हैं, वो बहुत सारे इनफॉर्मल क्वेश्चंस हैं जो वो करना चाह रहे हैं. सो जब आप एम्प्लॉइज को इन्वॉल्व करते हैं, आप उनको इनकरेज करते हैं, उनको अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, तो दे आस्क यू लाइक एनीथिंग दैट कम्स इन देयर माइंड. सो दैट रिजल्ट्स इन रिडक्शन ऑफ फियर ऑफ द अननोन. Another benefit of using employee involvement is it includes task forces conferences. तो आप क्या कर रहे हैं, आप टास्क फोर्स बना लेते हैं, आप कॉन्फ्रेंसेस करते हैं, मीनिंग दैट कि आप मुख्तलिफ एक लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल आपने कॉन्फ्रेंस की, कॉन्फ्रेंस में आपने जो प्रपोज चेंज है आप उसको लेके आए, उसको आपने उसके ऊपर ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग कराई, आपने डिस्कशंस करवाई, उसके प्रोज एंड कॉन्स को डिस्कस किया और जो बेटर सॉल्यूशंस आए उसके मुताबिक आपने चेंज को अडॉप्ट कर लिया. एंड देन आप टास्क फोर्सेस बनाते हैं कि डिफरेंट टास्क को अचीव करने के लिए आप एक टास्क फोर्स बना रहे हैं. एंड देन देयर आर सर्टेन प्रॉब्लम्स एज वेल व्हेन यू इन्वॉल्व एम्प्लॉइज. टाइम कंज्यूमिंग, पोटेंशियल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. ऑफ कोर्स टाइम कंज्यूमिंग तो है डेफिनेटली, क्योंकि जब आप एम्प्लॉय को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली इस ट्रांजैक्शन में टाइम तो लगेगा. उसके साथ साथ पोटेंशियल ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, बिकॉज व्हेन यू इन्वॉल्व एम्प्लॉइज तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स बढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि अगर चंद लोग डिसीजन ले रहे हैं तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट डेफिनेटली चंद लोग हैं उनका आपस में कितना कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो सकता है. लेकिन जब आप लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पर्सन्स को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं डिसीजन मेकिंग में, उनको ऑथराइज कर रहे हैं, उनको इन्वॉल्व कर रहे हैं, उनके फीडबैक को आप इंपॉर्टेंस दे रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली एक नेगेटिव कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आने के चांसेस हैं. सो व्हेन वी गो फॉर एम्प्लॉय इन्वॉल्वमेंट एज वन ऑफ द मेथड्स टू रिड्यूस रेजिस्टेंस टू चेंज, we also need to look at these potential problems and we should also think about how to manage these problems. Another very important method to minimize resistance to change is stress management. We have already discussed in our today's lecture what is stress. So we move on towards its benefits. Like for example, the potential benefits are more motivation to change. Of course, when you minimize stress level, of course, जब आप चेंज लेके आ रहे हैं तो एम्प्लॉइज का एक स्ट्रेस लेवल बढ़ रहा है. So when you manage their stress, of course, they are more motivated towards change. Less fear of unknown. Of course, we have already discussed that their fear level decreases because they are able to manage their stress. Fewer direct costs. And there are certain problems when we talk about stress management. For instance, it is again time consuming, expensive, does not help everyone. Very important, it is not helping everybody, one thing, and it is expensive because stress management of course time consuming है, और जब time consuming है तो definitely time is money, तो आपका expense जो है वो बढ़ जाता है. और कुछ लोगों पे जो ऑब्जर्व किया गया कि it doesn't work. And then we talk about negotiation. So this is another very important method to minimize resistance to change. Here we say that when people do not support change. Now there is a situation that in reality जो आपके employees हैं, they do not support change. They are not agreeing. They say no, we do not want change. So what you need to do here is you need to influence them by exchange. Now what you do here is you talk about their rewards. Okay, fine. People who opt for change, people who move towards positive change, they will get certain benefits. So you move towards negotiation. You talk about about, like for example, you move towards table talk. You move towards win-win strategy. So this is really very important. So if you want to minimize resistance to change in your organization, you need to negotiate with your employees. There are certain problems when we talk about negotiation. It is an expensive thing. Of course, when you're talking about rewards, तो आपने rewards देने तो हैं. तो जब आप rewards देंगे तो you increase your expenses. Lack of commitment, because जो ही आप अपने rewards को वापस करेंगे, reduce करेंगे, तो वो जो एक commitment है वो आप लूज करने के चांसेस हैं कि एम्प्लॉइज कहीं बैकअप ही ना हो जाएं कि ठीक है पहले रिवॉर्ड दिया था तो नाउ वी हैव चेंज्ड, अब रिवॉर्ड वापस ली है तो हम रिवर्ट बैक हो जाएंगे अपने पुराने मेथड्स के ऊपर, ओल्ड मेथड्स के ऊपर. तो यहाँ पे ये एक पोटेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं जो कि फेस करने की एक पॉसिबिलिटी हमें नजर आती है इन दी डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इन पाकिस्तान. And the final method here I suggest here is we can minimize resistance to change with the help of caution. Now when all other methods fail, we need to go for forceful influence. So this is really very important कि आपने communicate कर लिया, आपने training दे रही अपने employees को, आपने एम्प्लॉई को इन्वॉल्व किया, आपने स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट कर ली, आपने नेगोशिएशन कर ली, लेकिन इवन देन आपके एम्प्लॉइज एग्री नहीं कर रहे. एंड सम ऑफ योर एम्प्लॉइज दे डू नॉट वांट टू गो फॉर चेंज एंड दे डू नॉट वांट टू ब्रिंग पॉजिटिव चेंजेस एज पर इंस्ट्रक्शंस. सो व्हाट हैपेंस दैट कि आपको इम्पोज करना पड़ेगा, यहाँ पे आपको एक फोर्सफुल इन्फ्लुएंस करना पड़ेगा. And one may go for firing people as well. कि आप लोगों को terminate करते हैं, आप उनको suspend करते हैं because you have no other option left. The possible problems here are it reduces trust. Of course, आप जब बात कर रहे हैं caution की कि जब आप जोर ज़बरदस्ती से फोर्स यूज करके, अपनी अथॉरिटी यूज करके आप चेंज को इम्पोज करके उसको एक्सेप्ट करवा रहे हैं एम्प्लॉय से, तो डेफिनेटली एम्प्लॉयज का जो ट्रस्ट लेवल है वो रिड्यूस होगा. इट मे क्रिएट मोर रेजिस्टेंस. और एक थ्रेट यहाँ पे इन्वॉल्व है कि जब आप इम्पोज करेंगे तो मे बी एक जो रेजिस्टेंस पहले हो रही थी चेंज को वो शायद मल्टीप्लाई हो जाए और पहले से कहीं ज्यादा रेजिस्टेंस हो जाए. सो दिस इज रियली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि जब आप मिनिमाइजिंग रेजिस्टेंस टू चेंज की बात कर रहे हैं तो यू नीड टू बी हाईली केयरफुल. एंड आई विल आल्सो सजेस्ट हियर दैट इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग फॉर वन मेथड एट ए टाइम, you can go for more than one method. So you can use more than one method at one time according to the situation. So this is really very important depending upon the nature of the organization and depending upon the nature of the employees who are working in that organization. Now this slide is really very important. So when you look at this slide, you see that फर्स्ट रो को जब आप देखते हैं राइट साइड पे अगर आप देखिएगा सक्सेसफुल चेंज, इफ वी हैव द विजन, स्किल्स, इंसेंटिव्स, रिसोर्सेज एंड एक्शन प्लान, वी कैन गो फॉर अ सक्सेसफुल चेंज. ओके, व्हाट हैपेंस इफ वी हैव पुअर विजन और लैक ऑफ विजन? इफ वी हैव ऑल अदर फैक्टर्स देयर but if we have a poor vision or no vision, that results in confusion. Okay, what happens if we are lacking skills, or when we do not have those required skills? That results in anxiety, that results in high stress. Okay, what happens in case of absence of incentives? So if you are not giving incentives to your employees, what happens? That the possible result is it slows the change process. People want to change, but जब incentives नहीं होंगे तो definitely वो इतनी ज़्यादा active नहीं होंगे, activate नहीं होंगे, और एक slowly शायद एक काम चलेगा change की तरफ. लेकिन अगर आपने उसको activate करना है तो आपको incentives पे focus करना है. So in case of absence of resources, तो फ्रस्ट्रेशन के होने के बहुत ज़्यादा चांसेस हैं, क्योंकि यू थिंक कि मुझे ह्यूमन रिसोर्स चाहिए, मुझे फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्स चाहिए, मुझे फिजिकल रिसोर्स चाहिए, मुझे इंफॉर्मेशन रिसोर्स चाहिए, मेरे पास पुराने कंप्यूटर्स हैं, मेरे पास बैठने की जगह नहीं है, मुझे ज़्यादा टीम मेंबर्स चाहिए, थिंग्स लाइक दैट. तो जब आपको रिसोर्सेज नहीं मिलेंगे या लैक ऑफ रिसोर्सेज होंगे, सो द पॉसिबल रिजल्ट इज फ्रस्ट्रेशन. एंड फाइनली, if you do not have an action plan, or if your current action plan is weak or poor, the result is you may have a false start. So our today's conclusion says that change is never easy. So people who believe that change is something which is really easy, so it's not an easy thing, because it is really very difficult to change our habits. It is really very difficult to move from the zone of comfort to the zone of opportunity. Keep the big picture in mind. So this is what we can do for our employees. We should keep the big picture in our mind. छोटी छोटी minor details में जाने के बजाय छोटी छोटी बातों को बहुत ज़्यादा अगर आप सर पे सवार कर लेते हैं, तो दिस इज नॉट गुड फॉर यू. बिग पिक्चर को सामने रखें कि जो चेंज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इस वक्त लाई जा रही है, उसको अडॉप्ट करने से, न्यू वेज ऑफ वर्किंग मेथड्स को इंप्लीमेंट करने से, प्रोसीजर्स को इंप्रूव करने से ओवरऑल ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल इफेक्टिवनेस कितनी इंप्रूव हो रही है. एंड वंस अगर आप ये सोचते हैं कि ओवरऑल ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल इफेक्टिवनेस जब इंप्रूव होगी तो उसका इम्पैक्ट एम्प्लॉय के लाइफस्टाइल पे क्या होगा, so that is the big picture. So once we have that big picture in our minds, we can go for positive change. Persistence. So we need to have highly persistent employees. जितने ज़्यादा मुस्तकिल मिजाज employees होंगे, highly persistent employees होंगे, उतने ही बेहतर तरीके से we can bring changes in our organizations. Focus is really very important. So the focus of top management, middle management and low management is really very important. So when you are bringing in changes, so you should focus, you should highlight the most important benefits of that change. And finally, stamina. So it really depends on your stamina कि कितना आपका एनर्जी लेवल है, आप कितने ज़्यादा एक्टिव हैं. So that really depends on your stamina, आपकी capacity क्या है, things like that. So in nutshell जब हम बात करते हैं कि change is a wonderful thing, and without positive changes we cannot move forward. I hope that कि आज के लेक्चर से आपने काफ़ी लर्न किया होगा. We have talked about most important aspects of change in our today's lecture, and once we are able to bring positive changes in the public sector of Pakistan, we can improve performance, we can improve individual performance, we can improve organizational performance, and we can move towards a better Pakistan. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Inshallah, see you all in the next lecture. Khuda Hafiz.